Welcome to Your Baby Can Sleep. This video is about a sleep training program and a sleep coaching service to help you get your children sleeping through the night for their benefit and yours. The intended audience for this video is parents with 6 to 12-week-olds not sleeping 6 consecutive hours at night, parents with 3 to 6-month-olds not sleeping 8 consecutive hours at night, parents with greater than 6-month-olds not sleeping 10 consecutive hours at night, parents looking for a no-drug approach to achieving sleep for their children of any age, parents of children without a medical condition directly affecting their sleep, and expectant parents who do not know how to sleep train their children to achieve the above milestones. Hospital midwives and birthing classes won't teach you this information. What's going on in your house right now? Well, I'm guessing your child will only fall asleep when nursed or bottle fed, given a dummy, or are rocked, bounced or taken for a ride. Lots of time is being spent helping your child get to sleep. Your child doesn't sleep for more than a few hours. Your child's sleep is erratic. Your child sleeps in or beside your marital bed. You and your child are tired, stressed and moody. The child is not eating consistently. You're waking up to your child many times each night. You don't go out because you don't want to disturb your sleeping child. Your child tantrums. Only you can calm your child when they're awake. So there goes the babysitting idea. You're not getting time for yourself, your hobbies, your chores or your friends. There's lots of noise in the house. Work performance is suffering. Your relationship is under stress. Your sex life is poor and non-existent. You are feeling out of control. Your own lack of sleep is starting to take a toll on you and your family. But you know all this. What you may not know is the long-term effects on children of inadequate sleep in the first year. The studies say there are higher levels of fatty tissue and obesity later on, higher basal stress levels in the morning as measured with cortisol, fatigue and bad moods, less ability to respond to and cope with new or difficult situations, tantrums, emotional control problems and other behavioural problems, poor academic performance at school, slower learning, lower IQ, less attentive and more hyperactive, poor memory and organisation, social and relational problems, psychological problems, poor health due to a compromised immune system and digestive disorders, to name but a few. In summary, your children are worse off developmentally, physically, emotionally and psychologically. Here are the references to those factors. Take a screenshot if you like. Here's the second page. There are also long-term effects on parents of inadequate sleep while parenting. These include increased stress and anxiety levels in the afternoons and evenings, poor parenting, increased feelings of hunger, increased likelihood of obesity, depression including postnatal depression, an impaired immune system, an impaired ability to retain new memories, greater emotionality and irritability, a loss of libido and happiness, a degradation of work performance, withdrawal from social activities, cardiovascular issues, exhaustion, violence towards children, eventual inability to cope and relationship breakdown, amongst others. In summary, parents are worse off physically, emotionally and psychologically. Here are some of the references. Who are we and what can we do to help you? Well, I'm David. I'm the founder of Your Baby Can Sleep. Children love me. I'm that dad that all the children come to play with. I love kids and I love seeing families thrive. Since I was 12, I wanted to help families, and when I saw sleep training was a huge need and something I was good at, I got excited and I got involved. I'm passionate about helping your family sleep. I'm from a family of midwives and have many midwife friends and colleagues. My mother started midwifery 63 years ago and my sister is a practicing paediatric emergency nurse. They've all taught me much. I'm also the father of 4 physically and emotionally healthy children, all of whom I easily taught to sleep through the night by 6 weeks of age, despite their vast personality differences. I'm also a qualified instructor. What I and my team of coaches will teach you is what I have learned and used over many years and what I've taught many young families with great success. Before I show you what we can do to help though, I'd like to show you 6 secrets regarding childhood sleep. The first is sleeping through the night is normal. If you think sleeplessness at night is normal or that your child is sleep unique, you're wrong. A baby's circadian rhythm of hormones establishes itself around 6 to 8 weeks of age. This rhythm drives a baby to sleep during the night and be active during the day. Only parents can disrupt or allow this rhythm to be disrupted. The American Academy of Pediatrics published a table of normal night sleep durations for children of various ages. As you can see, time awake for newborns and babies is mostly time spent feeding, while time awake for infants and toddlers is related to their bedtime. In other words, they shouldn't be awake at night. You'll also note that there's no allowance in the table for different child races, sexes, personalities or temperaments. Sleeping through the night is the norm. Second secret, sleep habits are made by parents. You probably think children know naturally when and how to sleep, and that if you impose your sleep requirements on your child, you might harm them. This belief stems from a lack of sleep knowledge and/or an ineffective parenting style. You have or will therefore let your children take over as parents by allowing them to establish their own bad sleep habits. The reality is a child has no idea when, where, why, or how to sleep. These are your jobs. You're the responsible parent, you're the grown-up, you're the intelligent teacher. You need to understand your situation clearly. Your child doesn't have a sleep problem. You have a lack of sleep knowledge and/or an ineffective parenting style. This isn't just my belief. Studies prove that parenting styles determine sleep patterns. Here's a quote. Ineffective parenting styles of the permissive sort and daytime disruptive behaviours were more likely to be associated with the milder sleep disturbances found in children. There's a reference there. So sleep habits, whether good or bad, are made by parents. Third secret is that sleep is a learned behaviour. This means that sleep can be learnt by practice and by establishing habits. This means you have to teach your children when to sleep, i.e. at night and at appropriate times during the day, and you need to teach them how to put themselves to sleep. If you don't know how to teach sleep, then you need to learn. The good news is, if you do teach your children after learning about it yourself, all your child's sleep habits can be transformed into a healthy regime. Sleep is a learned behaviour. The fourth secret is that sleep habits will not fix themselves. Because sleep is a learned behaviour, it is habit-based. And as you know, habits will continue until you facilitate a change of habit. Sleep problems therefore aren't something that your child is just going to naturally grow out of. If you're going through the same struggles with your child night after night, you already know this. The fact is that babies who don't sleep well become toddlers who don't sleep well, who become adolescents who don't sleep well, who eventually become adults who don't sleep well. The longer you live changing the bad sleep habits of your children, the more harm will be done and the harder it will be to fix. So bad sleep habits will not fix themselves. The fifth secret is that sleep training won't harm your child. You've probably heard that sleep training means abandoning your child to cry themselves to sleep. This is often referred to as crying it out, or scientifically as unmodified extinction. Note these words. Every sleep training method involves crying. It is a 100% certainty because it involves changing your child's sleep habits. What varies between sleep training methods is the style of the soothing that takes place as a result of the crying. Attachment parenting advocates strive to minimise all crying through endless, exhaustive soothing. Contrary to what attachment parenting advocates say, cry it out advocates don't abandon their children. They just don't soothe their child's tantrums about sleep. They still lovingly respond to all their child's other needs. The fact is, crying does zero harm to a child, just as talking and crying does zero harm to you and I right now. Additionally, the emotions associated with crying are a powerful teacher for children. The belief that crying it out is harmful for a child, particularly when done during sleep training by a loving parent, is a complete myth. More on that in the frequently asked questions section. Why do I say it's a myth? Well, the American Academy of Sleep Medicine reviewed 52 peer-reviewed scientific studies published between 1970 and 2005 involving 1,100 children between the ages of 6 weeks and 5 years regarding the behavioural treatment of bedtime problems and night wakings in infants and young children. They reported in October 2006 that across all the studies, 94% reported that behavioural interventions were effective, with over 80% of children treated demonstrating clinically significant improvement that was maintained for 3 to 6 months. And that was because that was the duration of the studies. In particular, empirical evidence provided the strongest support for unmodified extinction or crying it out and preventative parental education. And these two aspects provide the basis of sleep training. An overwhelming majority of children responded favourably to these behavioural techniques, resulting in not only better sleep but also improvements in child and family well-being. In study after study, sleep training was found in a very short period of time to reduce bedtime struggles and night wakings, to increase sleep for children and parents, to improve child temperament and mood, reduce parenting stress and postnatal depression, and increase confidence and marital satisfaction. Most importantly, not a single study identified a negative effect on the baby's behaviour or their relationship with their parents. There is simply no scientific evidence that sleep training of any kind by loving parents causes any damage to children, and lots of scientific evidence that it is good for children and parents. The two most effective ways of sleep training are preventative parental education and unmodified extinction, and it will not harm your child. The sixth and final secret about sleep is that sleep training is not selfish. Over time, you've subconsciously learnt that getting up multiple times during the night for your children is part of the job. And you've learnt that your baby shouldn't cry. It disturbs others after all. It draws attention. It's stressful. You fear being perceived as failing to meet their needs, etc. So as parents, you may feel selfish if you want a good night's sleep by seeking to implement sleep training. Your selfish feelings are exacerbated when you realise that your child might cry during the sleep training process. Well, I want you to consider a safety message from an airline hostess. If oxygen masks fall from the ceiling, parents should fit their own mask before assisting children. In an emergency, a selfless parent fitting a mask to a child before themselves would be unwise, because they could pass out, and the child they fitted the mask to may not be able to fit a mask to them or their siblings. What is even more tragic is the child with the mask may remove it without parental supervision. A selfish parent, putting their own mask on first, could quickly save all their children and supervise them. That's wisdom. The first scenario is you right now. You are trying to look after one child to the detriment of yourself and your other family members. In the long run, you've been counterproductive and unwise. The second scenario is like sleep training. Sleep training, while seeming selfish, is actually wisdom. The parents get sleep, and so does the child and the siblings. The parents are more able to parent well, and the negative consequences of poor sleep are avoided for all. So put those selfish feelings away. Sleep training your child doesn't just let you get a full night's sleep, it's also the wise thing to do for your child and the whole family. Now I'll show you what we can do to help. We offer a sleep training program with simple, clear parenting information in video and written format so you know what to do and why. We offer specific guidance for each age group of child, step-by-step guides on how to effect and maintain change. We also have phone, FaceTime and Skype assistance from a coach during business hours. We also offer a sleep coaching service with phone, FaceTime, Skype assistance from a coach 24/7, personal visits to your house to discuss or diagnose difficult problems and assist, and coach stay and night options to guide, encourage and support you through the process. What do we promise? Well, we promise that your child will not be physically or emotionally harmed in any way. Your child will be sleeping through the night within 6 weeks for newborns and within 2 weeks, typically 3 days for others. The child will achieve a stable meal routine. You will learn how to be a better parent and many other beneficial side effects for your whole family. We also promise to lead you every step of the way and be there if you need help. Why is Your Baby Can Sleep a better sleep training program? Well, we care about your family, so we're going to go above and beyond. Our sleep training is done in your house, not in a strange medical facility which stresses mother and child and is difficult to reproduce in your own house. We encourage all carers, fathers, older siblings, grandparents, etc. to be involved in the training, not just the mother. Lots of emphasis is placed on why you do things so you understand what you're doing. Parents and sleep coaches talk to each other in person or on the phone, FaceTime, Skype, not like self-taught online courses where there is limited opportunity for reassurance or questions. We use the most effective, reliable and efficient techniques to correct sleep problems, which significantly reduces the duration and stress of the training period. We use food and play to help regulate sleep, whereas other programs do not. Our training can be commenced at birth, not at 6 months like other programs, thereby negating the stressful need to undo 6 months' worth of bad habits. And we build a solid sleeping pattern which will easily withstand interruptions during developmental milestones and the rigours of life. And finally, our training doesn't just help sleep, it helps you be a better parent in many other ways. Frequently asked questions. How long will it take to see results? Well, every child, parent and family is different, so it's impossible to give an exact answer. However, most parents will see a significant lasting improvement in their child's nighttime sleep from the 3rd night. Will the results be permanent? Yes, they will, provided you continue to employ the simple techniques you're taught. Is it hard to learn the techniques needed? Not at all. What we ask you to do is very simple and it requires no skill or expertise whatsoever. How much will my child cry? Well, we aim to eliminate your child's need to cry at bedtime by making them willing to sleep in advance. Your child will cry, if at all, only until they learn to sleep. This is not 1 second more and not 1 second less than needed. Rest assured, the program will not discourage you from dealing with your children's legitimate needs in any way at any time. Sleep training should be effective within 3 to 7 days, so we do not expect you to persevere beyond a week. If you are unwilling to tolerate any crying, not even for a minute or two, then no program will help you change your baby's sleep routine, and you will not be helping your child. Who falsely said crying it out was harmful? This view was popularised by Dr. William Sears in the 1980s through The Baby Book and carried forward by the attachment parenting fraternity. Sears cited scientific studies that showed the long-term negative effects of children crying. However, what he didn't tell you is that the children in the studies he cited were abused and neglected children from orphanages who cried for many years. They were not children from loving sleep training families where crying only lasted a few days. As you've seen, the Real Medical Fraternity has strongly contradicted the non-evidence-based opinions of the attachment parenting fraternity. Time magazine investigated Dr. Sears and found his claims to be unsubstantiated and grossly misleading, producing letters of criticism from the original scientists whose work Sears had misrepresented. The reason attachment parenting remains popular today is because it agrees with the indulgent permissive parenting style that 25% of parents naturally fall into without corrective education, and because most people simply have not heard about the criticisms. Psychologists and paediatricians unanimously agree that the indulgent permissive parenting style is very harmful and unhealthy for children. So, if you're ready to put those long nights of interrupted sleep behind you and to make a commitment to your child's health by giving them the gift of a good night's sleep and to get started today, we're looking forward to helping you. If you want sleep training help or to find out more, book a free consultation now.